Hi, and welcome to another episode of 15 Minutes Of. Today I'm joined by Katie Alsup. She's the events co-chair for Relay for Life. Welcome to the show, Katie.
Thank you for having me on.
Well, thanks for being here. So let's talk a little bit about Relay for Life happening this year in April. Okay. What's the exact date?
April 13th. It starts at 7 p.m. and goes until 7 a.m. on April 14th.
Okay, and that's out on the quad,
yes.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So just tell me a little bit about the history of Relay for those who don't know.
Okay.
What is it about and what are you guys raising money for?
Relay for Life started in 1985 by a guy named Gordy Klatt, and he actually just started walking around a track to raise awareness for cancer and wound up raising, I believe, close to $250,000 the first year. And so it's just continued on, and it's grown bigger every year. Mm-hmm. And they expanded a few years ago, and we brought Relay for Life to OCU about 6 years ago, and we have just continued to grow every single year.
Okay, so last year I know you guys exceeded your goal for the amount of money that you wanted to make. Can you just talk a little bit about last year and what kind of things you guys did and how that's relating to this year?
Yeah, Emma Velez was the co-chair with me as last year, and we were both sophomores, and so we had a lot of energy, and we decided to revamp committee, and we brought a lot of new and fresh ideas to the committee, and I think that translated out into the whole event. And we wanted to raise about $40,000, and we actually raised just over $43,000.
Oh, wow.
And you know, Emma will be really embarrassed if I tell this story, but we were about $50 short of $40,000 at the event, and she went out. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and she went out with her hat and was like, "Everyone put in $1. We're gonna raise this money."
Oh my
and
gosh!
So it was really great because everyone just like came forward and put in their money, and it was like a huge campus effort, and so it was really great to see.
So obviously you guys are willing to do kind of whatever it takes to get that meet that goal. So what kind of things are you guys doing this year in particular?
Okay, last semester we did a Capture the Flag event. It was really cold and rainy, so it didn't turn out as well as we were hoping, but we did have about 10 participants for the first time we've ever done it, and we're thinking about revamping it and bringing it back in the spring. We are doing something new, and we have marketing shirts that are designed specifically for Relay for Life at OCU that we're selling for $10, and it's just a simple purple shirt, and it just says "Want to spend the night" on it. Just kind of a eye-catching, you know, question, and then on the back it has our information for the event, and all that money raised goes to Relay for Life. And then we are going to, in the middle of March, we're going to start a stash bash, and it's going to be the guy or the girl, I guess, who can grow the best facial hair.
Oh, that might be a little hard for the ladies.
Well,
but.
Last year, Jim Buss actually sold the fake mustaches
oh, nice.
for Relay, and so and we're going to unveil the winners at the event. So we just thought it'd be a really interesting way to bring some new experience to Relay.
Definitely. And what is your guys' goal this year?
We want to raise $50,000.
$50,000.
Yeah.
How is that going so far?
Well, we have started signups online, and we raise a lot of our money online. And we have, last I checked, we had just a little over $1,000, which it's not atypical for this time of year. It being a youth event, college kids don't usually realize, like, oh, it's actually only 2 months away in like a week and a half. But I think we are above our participant level from where we were last year, and we're down a couple $100 from where we were last year. But you know, we have the participants. It's just a matter of sending out emails or asking.
Yeah, and so like at the event, at Relay, what exactly happens? Because it's an all-night event. And so there has to, that's correct?
Yes,
it's an all-night event. So there has to be a lot of stuff going on. What kind of things will there be this year?
Right. Okay, you said it's an all-night event, and it is a 12-hour event to simulate the cycle of cancer. So it starts when they first get the news, when the sun is going down, and then it goes into the middle of the night when they're struggling to continue on, and they're having to do this fight. And then at the end, we celebrate by you know, the sun rising at 7 o'clock in the morning and announcing the amount of money that we've raised. Okay. And so that's why it's overnight.
That's very symbolic. I had no idea. That's cool.
And so we have entertainment. We're doing local entertainment, especially focusing on OCU students because we have so much talent on campus. So we are actually still looking for entertainment. So Marcus Sam's. And then we have activities throughout the night at the same time. And each team is asked to provide a on-site fundraiser. And so they can do bake sales. We've done tie-dye in the past. Last year there was shopping cart jousting. Just different fun ideas to bring people out to raise money and to have a community.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll be right back to talk more about Relay for Life this year, so stay tuned here on 15 Minutes of.
At first it was twice a week. Everybody else was doing it. And one day I just did it all by myself. Now I can't stop.
It makes me feel powerful, you know? Like I can do anything.
It's the ultimate rush.
And every time feels like the first time.
Yeah, it does. You're not alone. It's okay. We've all been there.
My name is Brandon, and I'm hooked on service leadership.
Take the steps to living a better life by volunteering today.
Feels so good to finally say it. I love helping other people.
Yeah! Get motivated, get involved, get hooked on service leadership.
No, 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 no! No!
Just what do you think you are doing, Dave? I really think I'm entitled to an answer to that question. I can see you are really upset about this. I know I've made some very poor decisions recently, but I can give you my complete assurance that my work will be back to normal. Dave, stop, will you? Will you stop, Dave?
My name is Eric.
Welcome back to 15 Minutes of. I'm joined here by Katie Alsup. She's the events co-chair for Relay for Life this year. And we're just talking a little bit about Relay. So tell me a little bit about the ceremony that goes on. I know that's a big part of the event. What is it going to be like this year?
Okay, our ceremonies are based around 3 aspects of Relay: the celebration, remembering, and fighting back. And so our first celebration actually starts at 7 o'clock. It's our kickoff celebration. And at this, we welcome the survivors who came and their caregivers, because we do invite survivors out. And they actually get to take the first lap. And so it's really, again, really symbolic of just their fight. And so they'll take the first lap, and then they'll be joined by their caregivers, and they'll take the second lap, and on the third lap, the whole event starts. And so it's really just a way to welcome everyone and to recognize our sponsors and all the survivors that are there, because they're an important part of Relay. And then the second ceremony takes place around 10 o'clock, 10:30, and it's called the Luminaria ceremony. And a luminaria is like a little white bag filled with sand. And at Relay, we put the names of those who have battled cancer, whether they lost their lives or whether they survived and beat cancer. And we put their names on the bags. And this year we're doing something a little bit differently, and we want to get as many pictures of those people as possible to put on the bags as well, because it's really important to Caleb, the other co-chair, and myself, that we know who these people are and we recognize who they are. And we just really remember those during the Luminary ceremony that have been lost, and really just give thanks for their life and the influence they've had over us, and then remember who they are. And then the third ceremony is the fight back ceremony, and it takes place in the wee hours of the morning, about 2:30, 3 o'clock, and it's really just stories of hope and inspiration that others have provided. There's a lot of statistics that are provided then, and Amanda Lee does like one of the most moving ceremonies that I've ever seen, and she usually does 3 different relay stories at that point, and one of them is like someone who it's really connected to, one of them is like someone who is just like the statistics of cancer, and then the other one is this really moving inspirational story about why they're dedicating their life to fight cancer.
Okay, cool. So speaking of personal stories, can you just tell me a little bit about why relay is so important to you and why you are so involved here in our school?
Yeah, okay. Well, I'd never heard of relay until I got to OCU. But about 8 years ago, my aunt died of lung cancer. And it didn't hit home, for me at least, until her daughter got married about 2 years ago. And it was just really one of those experiences where it made me reflect on like what I want to experience when I get married, and it's like, well, my mom's gonna be there. And so it just really made me realize how hard it must be for her not to have her mom, especially like with all the experiences that come after marriage. And I just thought no one needs to go through that. No one should have to go through that. And then after I started relaying, my story just expanded. Because I am co-chair, I've been blessed with a lot of opportunities to go and meet other people and their stories, and I have a few, if you don't mind. But one of them came actually after the summer after my first relay, and it was a little girl named Claire, and she had cancer when she was 8, and she was 11 at the time, and I was wearing my Relay for Life shirt, not even thinking about anything, and she started like tearing up a little bit, and I thought I had done something wrong, and I was like, Claire, what's going on? And she said, people don't realize it, but cancer takes kids just as easily as it takes adults. And so I was sitting there thinking, wow, that's really true, you know, like, and so I relay for kids. I relay so that, you know, my kids or my nieces and nephews or whoever never have to hear the words that they have cancer. And then another story actually just came this last October, with a student from OU who realized or found out he had cancer when he was 20 years old, and he didn't realize it at first because he started having pain in his lower back, and it was just it wasn't really sudden. It was just kind of like a slow onset. And when he went home for the summer, his parents asked him why he was limping. Because the pain had spread to his knee or his leg, and he hadn't realized he was limping. And so he went to his doctor, and they found out he had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And the most amazing thing that I think about this story is that 6 months later, so in the spring semester after finding out he had cancer, he was back at school. And it gets even crazier because he gave this talk at an event I was at. And he said that afterwards, an older woman came up to him and said that 20 years ago, her dad had died of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And so just like the progress that has been made in the last 20 years really inspires me. And it makes me more driven, especially when I hear that we're so far away from finding a cure, because we've already found, you know, something that saves lives. And
so talking about making progress, what is your overall goal for events like Relay? Just in a short recap, what would you say is your overall goal? Like just finding a cure for cancer?
Finding a cure, I think I always say if you can't donate, if you can't put your time and effort into it, just advocate for it. Just if people ask questions, just know where to go and know what is important, and know that there are answers out there, and so knowing like where to direct people is a really big thing.
Okay, sounds good. And remind us, when is Relay again?
April 13th and 14th.
Okay.
It starts at 7 p.m. on April 13th.
All right. Well, thank you. We're so glad to have you here today. And so definitely stop by and check out Relay for Life. And because it's a great cause. So we'll see you next time here on 15 Minutes of. Until then, I'm Sonia Barrett.